Welcome back. Let's use snapshot testing to test some of these other simple presentational components that are completely stateless, since we saw how easy that is. So let me make this a little bit smaller and make sure we run npm test to have it running in the background. We see that our test or our card component is being tested now. So let's create another one. Let's create a test for the card list component. Now I'm going to remove the console log here because we don't need it. And let's create a cardlist.test file. So cardlist.test.js. And again, it's failing because we need to make sure we have at least a single test. We can actually go back to card.test.js and just copy and paste this, go to cardList component, copy and paste whatever we had, and just change our component to cardList. So let's just do that quickly. We can just select all of these and say cardList. Let me save. And we have some fails here. Let's see why. We see that we get a type error, cannot read property map of undefined. And that is because card list, you see card component is just rendering name and email, but it's not doing anything to it. So if it doesn't get name and email, it'll just render undefined. When we go to card list, we see that we're actually receiving the robots and we need to map over them. But in our test, we're rendering card, or let's go to card list. I'm going to close this so we don't get confused. We're not passing down robots. So in this test, when we try and render card list, it's going to fail because there's no robots to map over. So let's fix that. All we need to do here is just mock our robots. So we can just say const robots, or let's just say mock robots, is going to equal an array of some dummy data that we can create. So let's say that this is going to have an ID of 1, and we'll have the name of Jon Snow. Let's say username is going to be John. And let's say that email, I don't think we're using your username, but I wanted to give that username anyway, is going to be john@gmail.com. Now we can just pass our mock robots as the robots prop. So let's see if that works. I'm going to save. All right, and we have our tests passing. And if we go to our snapshot, we see that we have a card list snapshot as well. That's good. Our test failed because we weren't passing robots, and well, we want to make sure that we actually pass those properties. And you can imagine you can probably do the same thing with card as well, or maybe have a default in this component where if you don't receive name, email, and ID, that it has some sort of an error boundary or an output that it does for the user. We now see the power of snapshot testing. We see how we can mock some of our properties, and you might want to just go ahead and do snapshot testing for some of these other cases that are quite simple to do to increase our test coverage. And I'm going to leave that up to you because, well, just to give you a bit of extra practice. So let's move on to the next video where we do some things that are a little bit more difficult. But just to check, let's do our coverage to make sure that our coverage for the card list is now looking good. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And we see that, yep, look at that. Feels good getting 100%, doesn't it? Card list component is now well tested as well. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.